Petiquette is a game that I picked up last Gen Con when I stopped at the booth of Oink Games. Hey, I like a lot of their games. I like Scout, and even more so I like their game Deep Sea Adventure. That's one of my all-time favorites. So every Gen Con I try to get at least one game by them, and this one seemed interesting. I picked it up, I tried it, now I'm gonna tell you what I think about it. It's mainly a competitive game with a cooperative variant, which is still very, very similar to the competitive version. So we have a main deck of cards representing animals with different kind of hats and with numbers between 1 and 5 on them. That's what we have here. At the beginning of each round, you're going to shuffle this deck, and then you're going to draw 5 random cards. You also have this card with a question mark, and you shuffle it in there as you're setting up the round. Then you will form a line of 6 cards with the question mark somewhere in there. Don't worry, I'll show you. With the question mark somewhere in there. Ooh, interesting. So now we look at this randomly formed string of images and numbers, and we're trying to figure out if there is a pattern. What is the pattern what is the card that if put there would make the most beautiful pattern? That's what the rules say. You have to look not at the most logical, you have to look for the most beautiful. Each player has an identical set of these unusually shaped cards, and also this here. You will combine one of these cards with one of these numbers to pretty much form the equivalent to one of those cards. That's a simple, ingenious idea to reduce the number of components so not everybody has exactly a copy of this deck. Suppose I think, what should go there? What should go there? I think the number should be a 4. My process, I can't explain, but it really makes sense that. And there should be a blue hat, a dog with a blue hat, and a number 4. There you go. That's not taking any questions, but I think the perfect and most beautiful is a dog with a blue hat and the number 3. Did I say 4? I was just checking if you were paying attention. So that's what I do. I do that, and meanwhile, my other friends with their own deck, which is their own set, which is identical to mine, they'll also prepare their own. And so everybody will commit to a guess or a preference of what is the right one. Now, then, once we're all done, we all reveal it. Ta-da! If at least one other person had exactly the same card as you, so same number, same hat, and same animal, then each person with a match will score points. Points are represented. These are the point tokens, these little bottles. What's in the bottles? That's you decide. And how many do you get? This stack of tiles is also the round track. The first round, each person who has at least a match gets 1 bottle, and the same for the second and the third round. Round 4 and round 5, each match is worth 5 points, 2 points, 2 bottles, 2 points. And at the end of round 5, the person with the most points wins the game. As simple as that. At the end of a round, you reset the whole thing. Everybody gets their components back. You shuffle these in there, shuffle, 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 and you set up another sequence. It's a simplified, I'm giving you the simplified version. Maybe it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it'll look like this time. Ooh, interesting. Or not, I don't know, because that's the point. These are random configurations, and you're still looking for a pattern, and you need to look for a pattern that is the most beautiful, but let's face it, you're also looking for a pattern that you hope other people are seeing too, because that's ultimately how you score points. Petiquette is a simple, fun, intuitive party game. You can teach it to anybody in a couple of minutes. Even my main segment, where I usually talk too much, I think was only a couple of minutes. everybody understands what you're supposed to be doing it, and trying to do it is engaging. I don't know that there's auto strategy because you can't really read minds. Maybe if you play it a lot, then certain patterns, certain codes will start getting ingrained in the consciousness of the group. But I think that will be a while, and there's so much variety, so much variance there, that it's going to be fun to try to guess what makes sense, which will always be what makes sense to you, of course. And there definitely is a generational element. I played it with adults and with teenagers, and it turns out the teenagers understand each other and the adults understand each other much better. And there was a time when I was only playing with young people, and of course it was a disaster. I ended up dead last. It's funny that recently I reviewed a game that I said it's a game that is very simple, very light. It tries to be a party game, and it doesn't do anything for me. If you just look at the length of the rules, the concepts, this is a game that tries to do the same thing, to be a very fun, simple party game with almost no rules or very light rules, and to trigger a social interaction. That game failed, this one succeeds. So it's really how you somehow cook these very few elements. Because it's fun to try to guess what the other people are trying to say, and it's fun later to complain, to say, oh my gosh, don't you see, hat, 2, 1, 3, how could you not? And so there is a post-round natural conversation that emerges, which is definitely part of the experience. The idea of these animals wearing funny hats and looking fancy, looking very fashionable, makes the art even more charming. So to me, this is another successful games by Oink. I just like so many of their games. Very different from some of the other ones. Each have their own personality. But for a light, simple, super intuitive party game that triggers interesting conversations, then we now have Petiquette as a really good option for that.